All right, hello, nerds around the world. Welcome to another episode of the Nerds You Nice One podcast. I am CM Miller, your host tonight, and this is episode 90. That's right. We have gone through now it is we are doing the 90th episode of our show, and this is hopefully we'll do a solid show tonight. And to help me out with that, I have, as I said, these are a couple of regulars who've been on the show. First, we have from Geek Salad, Mike Gillick. Mike,
howdy, Chris. Great to be back. As always, it's going to be an interesting show, I think.
Yes, and especially from your corner. I'm digging the Rogue One T-shirt, but it's still. We're going to elaborate more on that before we begin the show. And also, we have Colton Hunt. Colton, what's going on, my man?
Hi, everyone. Folks, please excuse the not so great lighting of where I'm sitting right now. I'm not in my bedroom. I'm in my sister's apartment for the night, and I'm working with what I got here.
Can I crash there, Colton? Let me stop.
No.
Let me stop. Yeah, so Mike's and covering our list tonight. Another list where we covering top 5 movie science fiction film villains. Even the most ordinary baddie can transform an average science fiction film into a unique one. I mean, and did any of your favorite villains, from Me the Merciless to Darth Vader, did anyone have to enter on our list? What we're going to find out tonight. And Mike has stated before the show even started that he has a shock you on this. I'll do my best to develop a thick skin. Just don't hurt me too much. But without further ado, I'll start it off with my list, going from number 5 to number 1. And number 5 on my list is Agent Smith from the Matrix trilogy. Really played by Hugo Weaving. It's just like Agent Smith is a dastardly, very, very, very cunning, very, very, very malevolent, very, very malevolent character. He's so massively played by Hugo Weaving. He was so believable in capturing the ruthlessness of the cunning nature of the character. He was really and then his rather misanthropic nature, and Hugo Weaving just is like, it's just like, on paper you can see, I guess you could say Agent Smith seems kind of ordinary. It seems kind of cliche. It seems like kind of cliche, But like I said, you gotta give credit to Hugo Weaving. He just owned the character, especially with that Mr. Anderson, which has become so ingrained in pop culture. And he's this guy. He's just a character you just love to hate. I mean, he's so relentless, and you just believe he's so utterly relentless in trying to destroy, to enslave humanity, into the Matrix, and he leaves quite an impression on you. I admit, when I saw the Matrix as a kid, he kind of freaked me out a bit because he was so cold, so chilling a villain. I mean, man. Yeah, the other Matrix movies were not as good as the original, but what was the shine point, as with the first movie, was his performance. So I had to give it to him, definitely. So Agent Smith, number 5 on the list. All right, Mike, why don't you give us number 5 on your list?
All right, Mr. Anderson. Now, my number 5 is from The Dark Knight, the Joker. I think in the movie, Alfred puts it best. Some men don't want money. Some men don't want power. Some men just want to watch the world burn, and that was exemplified in the Joker. He didn't care about. He had a pile of money. He set it on fire because there was a gangster at top, and he wanted to kill him. I mean, he didn't care about money. All he wanted to do was to prove to Batman that Batman was as screwed up and messed up as he is, and that if push came to shove, he would be he was just like the Joker. They were the two sides of the same coin. It's just the fact that he had no real, he had no motive other than wanting to, he didn't care who he had to kill, just as long as people died. I mean, it boggles the mind, but that was it. He just wanted to kill for the sake of killing because he had no other reason for it. And that's just a scary thing. The fact that there could be people out there that they don't care. They don't want to take your money. They don't want to to kidnap you for ransom. They just want to kill you. No reason. No reason other than they just met you on the street and yeah, I don't like you. Boom, you're dead. Done. Next. It's kind of freaky. And I think Heath Ledger just played it masterfully. So yeah, my number 5, The Dark Knight, The Joker.
Interesting choice. Interesting choice to make. Why so serious? I was like, it has been hard to talk that character ever since that movie came out. Though, like,
yeah,
even this is like, it still creeps me out. It's just like, that's something that will live forever. Colton, if you're not disposed at the moment, why don't you give us number 5 on your list?
Okay. Yeah. Is the lighting over here better? All right, awesome. Number 5 on my list is The Terminator. The T-101 from the very first Terminator movie, played masterfully by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know it sounds like that might not be saying much, but just go back after seeing his performances in later films, but go back and watch the original Terminator movie and tell me that Arnold Schwarzenegger has the look of a man that you should not fuck with, okay? He has a stone cold face on his look at his face everywhere he goes, and he's just sorry, let me get my thoughts together. He just has a stone cold look in his face. He always just walks around very well, patiently and all that jazz, even though we know that any minute now, if anyone crosses him, he's gonna let them have it. I mean, when he asks for all those guns, he's like, okay, thanks. Okay, not okay, thanks. But he just takes the gun, takes the bullets, casually loads them, and then blows the gun salesman's brains out. Then he just easily executes one of Sarah's friends, and then he goes after Sarah herself. And all throughout that, he's just unstoppable. He's totally relentless in his mission. And what I love about it is that when Kyle says that the Terminator can't be reasoned with, can't be bargained with, it will never ever stop until you're dead. Watching this movie, it's not an informed attribute. That thing it's going to keep coming at you. And just when you think they can't top the T-101's terror factor, its human tissue gets blown off, and we see just what's under it, and it's freaky as all hell. I mean, we think the day has been won, but suddenly it bursts out of the flames, and Sarah is just like, no! And they have to go making a run for it. And even though the T-101 has been somewhat damaged and has a bit of a limp, we all know that there's no way Reese can take that thing on hand to hand. It just it takes him out just no problem. And even when it gets its lower half blown off, seeing it actually still crawling after Sarah to try and kill her is still somehow terrifying, among other things. I know I said terrifying a lot, but I mean, that's what I really love most about the T-101 from this movie compared to the T-1000. I mean, I like the T-1000, but I feel like its design was more suited for the action movie feel of the film compared to the more horror overtones of the original Terminator film and all that. So yeah, my number 5 is The Terminator. I'll be back.
Yes, and he'll be back somewhere on our list, I'm pretty sure. Certainly. You can count on that, definitely. But going on to number 4 on my list is HAL 9000 from 2001: The Space Odyssey. The 2001 is truly one of the great masterpieces. It truly gives you some incredible moments and some unforgettable characters. And the HAL 9000 is definitely at the top of the pack. Definitely, he just is like the character. Was created aboard the Discovery spaceship to assist with the human crew, and then definitely, he's just an AI. He starts. Really, what you see is a mere AI. Trying to help the human crew on their mission to go along. As in the sense that you watch the film even further. Oh. shit starts to hit the fan, basically. Basically, I mean, we see with the two astronauts, Bowman and Poole, which is a sergeant knows, it's like, what's with Hal? He knows anything wrong with him? If he's just like, and Hal, is already stupid steps ahead of him. Like, it's just like, he kills the human crew. It's just basically, it's just a group. And what kills me though is the voice. So ineffective. It's just like, and so devoid of emotion. He's a machine, basically. Especially with that line, it's like, open the power bay doors. I was like, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. And then that red eye, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, of course, how was without a face? So like I say, he's a computer. But with that alone, he's no less terrifying. It's just like I said, when he kills the crew and he's responsible for astronaut Frank Poole's death, you realize that this is a character that needs to be dealt with. It's especially that moment when Bowman terminates all Hal's brain functions. Yeah, I call that the mice immensity. They call it the mice immensity. Like I said, Douglas Rain who was the voice of the character, brought so much to it. He really brought this character to life. I mean, and he is without a doubt one of the great sci-fi, and he's a formidable foil for any character in any sci-fi movie. So HAL 9000 is number 4 on my list. All right, Mike, what's number 4 on your list?
All right, going from the Joker and DC to Marvel with Magneto.
All right.
I mean, the thing that makes him most terrifying is that he is absolutely one of the most powerful mutants on the planet, and he thinks he is 100% justified in everything he's doing. I mean, that's the most scary thing. I mean, he's a guy that every time he tries to trust humanity, they end up trying to stick a knife in him, and he just, they push him so much, and then he just breaks and he starts slaughtering people. I mean, you take, right from the very first movie, first time you see him, he is in a concentration camp. He is seeing the very worst that humanity has to offer, and that one moment and kind of taints his entire view from that point on. I mean, when you first see him at the beginning of the first X-Men movie, he's talking to Xavier. He says, "No, we're the future, Charles, not them. Humanity no longer matters," and he 100% believes that. He thinks, you know what? Let's have mutants rule the Earth, and let's kill all the rest of them off. They don't matter. That's really a freaky thing. I mean, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Apocalypse, but easily the best scene in that movie is Magneto's in the forest.
Yeah,
again, he was trying to. He was just laying low. He was trying to get along with humanity. He had a regular job. He had his family, and then as soon as he lets his guard down,
it all goes to hell.
Yeah, exactly. They turn on him again, and he snaps and dead.
The thing is that they turned him despite the fact that he actually saved a man's life.
Yeah,
McNeil was asking for. He was legitimately trying to. He said we tried to. He actually said he was trying to do it Charles's way, but it just didn't work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, heck, when they came for him, he surrendered. He wanted nothing to do. He wanted no fight. He wanted peace. He wanted to try peace, and they didn't let him. And so he was honestly in that moment he was justified. And again, that is what really makes him such a menacing villain, is that he knows, well, he's in his mind, he is 100% correct in everything he's doing.
Oh yeah.
So
He
yeah,
barely nearly made my list, but I couldn't decide if he was like 100% bad guy or not. I mean,
uh,
he's not good, but I couldn't really decide what end of the spectrum he fell
he's
on.
not a bad guy, but he is absolutely a villain. So at
Right.
least in those movies. So
He's
that's
not
why.
good, but he's
Yeah, that's why my number 4 is Magneto.
All right. Interesting choice, Mike. All right, definitely. All right, Colton, why don't you give us number four on your list?
Right, this is a bit of a wild card out there, but from the movie Serenity, otherwise known as Firefly the movie, I'm going with the Operative, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. So, never. Chiwetel Ejiofor is a bad guy, something you probably wouldn't expect, but he actually did the job pretty good, you know. And one scene where his character was getting into an argument with a couple of doctors, he casually asks the guy, tells the guy about how disgraced, I think it was Japanese culture, he said, disgraced soldiers would throw themselves on their own swords. And the doctor said, "Oh, I don't really have a sword." And then the operative just casually pulls out a sword and asks the guy if he would be killed in his sleep like an alien animal. And the guy tries to make a run for it, only for the operative to pinch some sort of nerve on the guy's back that paralyzes him. Then the operative casually lays the sword right behind the guy, and then he just strikes up a conversation with a nurse that's obviously terrified. He's like, "Oh, by the way, young miss, I'll need all the information you have on so-and-so." And then the doctor falls back in the sword as the operative is saying this. And then he actually turns to him and says, "This is a good death." And I'm like, yeah, this is probably one of the most chilling scenes I've ever seen in a Joss Whedon production. It's just
so casual.
Yeah, he's so casual. He never raises his voice, but you can tell this is a man you do not. This is again a person you don't want to mess with. And when he says when he takes on Malcolm later in the movie, and he's like he easily wipes the floor with him. He actually manages to stab him right through the chest right through the stomach with his sword. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is damn. But I think one of my favorite parts about the operative was that when everyone is calling him a monster and all that jazz, he actually admits that yes, he knows he is, and he knows he's not like 100% proud of what he's doing, but he feels like it needs to be done because he truly believes in the Alliance. And well, it's I like how he doesn't actually, because of Chiwetel's Chiwetel's delivery of the line, you can kind of sympathize with him a bit, I guess you could say, among other things. Like, he knows he's probably going to hell when he's going to hell when this is all over, but someone's got to do this nasty work, so he figured he'll do it because of what he believes in, and this made him come across as a character you can kind of understand with, instead of just thinking that he was some crazy zealot that's fighting for, well, the evil alliance, among other things. And sure, he does have something of a heel face turn towards the end after Malcolm shatters his faith with the revelation of what the alliance has been doing, which I won't spoil for those of you that somehow haven't seen Serenity. But it's a pretty interesting bad guy for a sci-fi film, I think. Very intimidating, but he's not just your run-of-the-mill hired goon. He's not a run-of-the-mill hired goon, among other things. Oh, and one of my favorite scenes from him is actually another favorite moment I have from him is that when he meets Malcolm face to face, he says, "Let's do this like gentlemen, okay? I'm unarmed," and then Malcolm immediately shoots him, and then the guy's like, "Okay, I'm unarmed, I'm not stupid, okay?" And he reveals that he has a body armor on, and good show, Joss Whedon, good show.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. When something be underrated, if you ask me, it's just like guys, just like something. It's just one of the best villains. Isn't like a true villain in the sense he's somebody who's actually believes in what he stands for. It's just definitely, but still, like, it's a great show.
Like, considering how the sorry, go on.
Go on.
Considering how the Alliance have been portrayed as pretty much straw villains, seeing the operative coming around was a bit of a curveball, and suddenly they put things in maybe a sort of different perspective in this whole battle of good versus evil.
Yes. All right, definitely. Like I said, great choice, Colton. All right, going to number 3 on my list is Khan from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And this is a character who leaped out from the television series and into the movies. And boy, was it a leap it was. I mean, after he so ruthlessly intimidated the crew of the Enterprise in the first season of the original Star Trek series, the episode titled Space Seed, he comes back and he comes back with a vengeance, you know. And he blames Captain Kirk, now Admiral, for not checking up on the progress when they were sentenced to the planet in the SETI Alpha system over 15 years ago. And that kind of, and he has lost a lot during those almost 2 decades. You know, he's lost some people, and of course he lost the love of his life. And that became the catalyst for his quest to rid himself of James T. Kirk. And Ricardo Montalban, he just typically chews up the scenery. He just says so much memorable. He's so rich with monologues it's a quotable bits of dialogue, you know. It's just like to the last I will grapple with thee. This is like truly like Moby Dick in outer space, basically. You know. This is really
Have you ever heard the old Klingon proverb that revenge is a dish that is best served cold? It is very cold in space.
Revenge is a dish best served with pinto beans in a muffin.
Kirk, old friend. Oh, sorry. 10 points to anyone that gets that reference.
Yeah. I got it, obviously, because you know where I got it from.
Do you get it, Chris?
Yes, I do.
Can't decide if that makes us extra nerdy or not.
As I was saying, yes, you know, Khan is just like playing with Ricardo Montalban is such an effective villain. It's just a memorable screen. It's just a memorable screen villain. And especially, you just do stuff that is just so you just you know, you're just it makes him all the more ruthless. You just makes him hate him more, especially what he does to Chekhov and his captain, the captain of Reliant. And that shit with the truly creepy and terrifying sequence. You know, like I said, he is just relentless in this. You believe him in this relentless quest to kill Kirk. And like I said, it's a brilliant portrayal, and not any of the other Star Trek villains have ever come close to what he brought, to the level of villainy he brought with that film. And just so. Khan Numius scene, number 3 on my list. All right, Mike, what'd you give us number 3 on your list?
All right, my number 3 is taken from Colton's list, The Terminator.
Right.
It was originally going to be something else, but I mean, Colton is 100% right. I mean, take everything that what the Joker was and magnify it by 1,000, and you got the Terminator. He's just he's not trying to rob anybody, or he's just trying to kill this one person. And if you get his way, he'll kill you too. But he has no malice towards you. He just it's like take the Black Panther from Civil War. He's not, he's just aiming at Bucky, and if you get in the way, he'll beat you down and toss you aside because you're in his way. He wants Bucky. The same thing with Terminator. He wants to kill Sarah Connors. If you get in his way, he'll kill you, and then he'll keep going. And I mean, he's like a bullet in that effect. You know, a bullet's job is to kill one person. If you get in the way, it'll kill you and then go through. Well, if it's powerful enough. And that's what he was. Yeah, I mean, they shot him, they blew him up, and he kept coming. Eventually, they had to, well, I'm not going to spoil the 35-year-old movie or whatever, but yeah, I mean, it is for one of James Cameron's very first directing approaches. He did a great job, and he couldn't have picked a better person to play that role than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, I think he had like 42 or 47 words in the entire movie, and that's all you really needed, because you just needed him looking very stoic and looking completely unstoppable, and that's what you got. So yeah, number 3. The Terminator.
Indeed. One of the other scariest scenes in the movie might be when he shows up at first fake Sarah Connor's door. He knocks on it and he's like, Sarah Connor, yes, and then he just breaks down the door and just executes her right then and there. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you would. What's so scary about that is just how relatable it is. You know how you never know who might show up at your doorstep, and in this case, it's just it's a psycho killer and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, and he didn't know which Sarah Connors was the right one, so he just took the page from the phone book and started killing them one by one. I mean, wow.
Then he walks into a police station, gets a hail of gunfire, and yet he shrugs it all off. He keeps coming, kills everybody there. There is no stopping this thing. You gotta really give James Cameron and company their props for being able to make the Terminator into such an unstoppable badass without making him coming across as like, I don't know, Superman or something. Like you can tell that the bullets are affecting him, but he's programmed to pretty much just ignore it and keep on going until he succeeds in his mission.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. In the meantime, Colton, would you give us number 3 on your list?
I've done firework. I've hurt you, and I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet. Buried alive. Buried alive. God! Okay, anyway, yes, as you can tell from that line, I think I actually might have bungled part of that quote, but anyway, Khan is my number 3. So, for a character that originally starred in just a one-off episode of Star Trek that was never going to get followed up on because, well, I mean, that was the time before television sequel episodes were really a thing, so to speak. Seeing Khan come back was not only a surprise, but just a genuine shock with what they did with him. He's been left. We find out that City Alpha 5 didn't work out because City Alpha 6 exploded for reasons. Anyway, most of his crew is dead. He lost his wife. It's like, okay, I can pretty much understand him being pissed off with Kirk right now. One thing I didn't notice but was suggested is that when Kirk finds out that when Khan finds out that Kirk's been made an admiral, he's like, Admiral Kirk, Admiral, and they suggested that maybe Khan thinks that Kirk got promoted because he left him on City Alpha 5. So that's just more fuel to the fire with Khan. And I think one thing I loved about Khan is that we saw that he's obviously has more than enough strength to deal with Kirk and his crew. But in this movie, we only just see him using his superior intellect. It's a battle of wits from start to finish, and that somehow makes Khan into a far more intimidating villain. It's one thing to be able to just beat somebody down, but to be able to outthink them and more or less result in them almost causing their own demise, that takes quite a bit of skill, and can be even more terrifying because it's not just the person being beaten, it's them being broken as well. And Khan nearly succeeded. He shows up in the Reliant, right? He shows up in the Reliant. Then with only a couple of well-placed shots, he has the Enterprise so badly damaged that if he wanted to, he could have easily finished them off right then and there. No more Kirk and company. The universe is pretty much screwed. And even after things start going south for Khan, he refuses to give up. He keeps battling until the bitter end. And even though we're obviously not supposed to root for him, I kind of have to feel. I still felt for him throughout his plight. When he loses the last of his crew, he says, "I will avenge you," as the guy lays there dying. And he's like, "You gotta give it to Khan. He might be pretty much a murderous dictator, but he is a father to his men, and he's a father to his men without being I won't say he's sympathetic, but there's an understanding to his motivations and all that thanks to Montalban's acting, you can somewhat agree with his points of view without being 100% on board with them, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
he
yeah,
cares for his people.
What?
He cares for his people, without a doubt.
It's like even that woman that he manipulated in Star Trek and in Spacey, when he manipulated her into portraying the crew, the fact that he actually seemed genuinely hurt that she died, it's like part of me wishes that we could have actually seen what their relationship was like. Apparently the actress that played the woman was having a lot of health trouble at the time, I think. So that's why why she was killed off screen. But
Yeah, she was
anyway, yeah. What?
She was diagnosed with ALS. That was contributing. It was just a factor why she couldn't be in the film. You know, it was just a huge factor that you know.
Right, thank you. That's
Yeah.
that. And also, only Khan can make an unmasking scene like that. Can make an unmasking scene totally badass. He just casually removes his gloves, takes off his mask, and then is like, and then Chekhov is like, God, oh crap, we're screwed. Even though, of course, we all know the typical joke that Chekhov wasn't around. Let's give them wasn't in Spacey. Let's move on. And Montalban is just so calm, and his acting is just superb. You know, every line he says, like as we said, becomes an instant quote, and. But he also manages to avoid seeming like a walking meme, though. Like whenever he says those lines, they still have just as much meaning as they did then as they do now. So number 3 is Khan.
All right. Great choice. Yes, I mean, yes. If you haven't chosen him, I would have chased you around the moons in Libya. Let me stop.
Around the entire snowstorm, around perdition's flames before I give him up.
Yeah, like I said, excellent choice. Nice. All right, going on to number 2, and this is characters ranking high on my list. Then it wasn't in your list. The T-800 from the Terminator. Yes, I don't know if I can say it better than you guys said. I'm not sure, but you know, yes, T-8. Yeah. Also, this is pretty much the role that was the stepping stone in Arnold Schwarzenegger's career. It legitified him as a superstar, and you know, and it is the role, you know, that you know he has become so synonymous with. I mean, I believe Lance Sanderson was supposed to play that character, but you know that wouldn't, you know, with Arnold with that stone face, and you know, so much he brought such a chilling and terrifying demeanor. He's almost like a horror movie villain, basically. I mean, just like a guy. He's just like a character who's been sent, a machine who's been sent back through time to kill this woman from ever bearing the future becoming a leader of resistance against machines in the future. Yeah, he like I said, he just basically was the perfect actor to portray this character. He's merciless. He kills innocents, you know, in the line fire. I mean, it's just like, it's just, you know, it's just, you know, I know. I mean, it's just like he's just such a cold, efficient, killing machine, for lack of a better term. It's just he will stop at nothing to achieve his objective. It's like what Kyle Reese said to Sarah. He's like the Terminator is out there. He can't be bargained with. He can't be reasoned with. He doesn't feel pity, remorse, or fear. It will absolutely not stop ever until you are dead. That's pretty much what sums up his character. Just a relentless, unstoppable, just a walking, just a walking circus. You know, just he will not stop until he sets out to achieve his goal. I mean, like I said, there's several scenes. Of course, you know, when he's coming out of the fire and basically like that. It's like, man, this is like.
He's literally a killing machine.
Yes.
Yep.
Pretty much. Like I said, it's like you're just, you know, you're just terrified. You're just terrified the entire time. He really gives you that visual punch. You know, whenever you're near him, you just can't help be shit scared. That was part of. It was part of what made that performance work. Is that he actually made you believe he was this ruthless machine sent back from the future, and he just like it's just performance has become immortal, basically. So T-800 from the Terminator, number 2 on my list. All right, Mike, why don't you give us number 2 on your list?
Oop, there we go. Sorry. I was trying to unmute it and I turned off the video for a second there. All right, my number 2 are From the Alien franchise, the Xenomorphs. I mean, you want terrifying. This is a creature that, in order to exist, has to kill someone.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and not just kill it like like regular way. Once that face hug gets on you, it's just a matter of time before you die in the most painful, horrific way possible, while giving birth to something that's going to try and kill everyone that's around you. Combining the horror of suffocation with the fact that something's going to rip you apart from the inside out. That's just terrifying. And and then you got like the queen alien, this humongous creature that just all it wants to do is create more of these things that will kill more people. And if you try to kill them, it's got acid blood that will kill you at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much, if you kill them, you're dead. If you don't kill them, you're dead.
It's got a wonderful defense mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. It's just horrific. It's terrifying, and there are like millions of them. I love those movies, but those things are terrifying. And another James Cameron there for although Aliens is not quite as terrifying because it's more of an action movie, but it's still really terrifying at times. So yeah, my number 2, the Xenomorphs from Alien.
We'll argue with you on that one, Mike. Nice choice. All right, cool. Would you give us number 2 on your list?
Hold that thought for one. Hold up. One.
Okay, okie dokie. Well, well, he's kind of indisposed in the moment.
Do 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 do. Do. All right, you'll be back in a second.
Okay.
So, did you enjoy the Assassin's Creed trailer?
I did.
Cool.
I did.
I'm looking forward to watching it. I haven't seen it yet because I was spent all day at work, but yeah. So,
I thought you did watch it.
No, not yet.
I bet this looked legit. It was like a pretty ass video game movie. And cool.
Okay, guys, I'm ready.
All right, cool.
All right, number 2 on my list. So we've seen this happen 1,000 times throughout fiction, where we have this one supposedly super evil bad guy that's going to be the bane of our hero's existence for the entire franchise, and then suddenly we find out that there's actually someone that's 10, maybe 100 times worse than him, and that found out that there's someone out there that's not only worse, they're 100 times worse. And I think the quintessential example of this is none other than the Emperor from Star Wars. He's basically everything we all know and fear about Darth Vader suddenly magnified, and it's all summed up in one perfect sentence. I hope so for your sake. In one line or a couple of lines. I hope so for your sake, Commander. The Emperor is not as forgiving as I am. And when you realize that the guy that casually kills his commanders and other high-ranking officers for idiotic mistakes, and suddenly that's him being merciful. Damn, may God have mercy on your soul if you piss off the Emperor. And what I love about the Emperor is that when he first shows up, he seems like he looks creepy, but not somebody you would probably be afraid of. He seems like a frail old man at first. But then when he reveals how much of a chess master he is, suddenly you realize that, yeah, the Emperor is actually a pretty viable threat. But then it all comes to it, but he's still something of a hammy actor. But then it all comes to a head at the very end of the movie. When Luke says, I'm a Jedi like my father before me, the Emperor calmly says, so be it, Jedi. when he says that line, there is not a hint of anything hokey in his dialogue. He is legit pissed off that he has failed to corrupt Luke, and now Luke is going to pay the price. And when he says, "If you will not be turned, you will be destroyed," and he starts attacking Luke, you suddenly realize that Luke is truly and utterly screwed, okay? And the Emperor isn't just killing Luke, he is breaking the guy's spirit. Luke had just gone to hell and back through, had a pretty traumatic life trying to, live up to his father's legacy, finding out that his father is Darth Vader, trying to bring him back to the light, and now he finally feels like he's done that, he's become the Jedi that his dad never could be, and then the Emperor just casually says, "Okay, you have to die then." And seeing Luke just lying there in agony as the Emperor just constantly pours more and more lightning into him with one of the most terrifying faces on it, looks on his face in the entire series. I mean, that gave me nightmares for years. Like whenever I watched Star Wars, back in the day when I watched Return of the Jedi, I was always afraid to see the Emperor, and I never looked forward to the Force lightning scene because of how utterly brutal it is. And of course, the Emperor just becomes even more, even if he is still hokey in the prequel trilogy, he still has quite a bit of a good chess. He still has a great chess master side on him, regardless. Especially whenever he's trying to, corrupt Anakin, with the tale of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise, among other things. So number 2 on my list is the Emperor.
Yeah. Well, okay, there's some great choices from all. Great choices from them. Some interesting, very solid choices. But going on to the number one, the top spot, the moment of truth. The number one, my number one favorite villain, my number one favorite sci-fi villain of all time happens to be, of course, from Star Wars, and he happens to be the Emperor's most ruthless and loyal enforcer. You don't know who that is. Who argues with me otherwise, I find their lack of faith disturbing. Darth Vader. From the road. Thank you, Colton, for that impersonating Darth Vader. From the helmet, the voice. That voice by James Earl Jones, that legendary, masterful voice that, is just, and of course the cape, everything like that, Vader is just an icon of villainy. Brutal, cold, efficient, and ruthless. I mean, it just is. What's there? So you can't. Is there any more you can say about Darth Vader? This is like that queasy, mechanical breath, and he's just a guy who, like I said, he's ruthless. He takes no prisoners. No prisoners whatsoever. I mean, I used to be terrified of Vader when I was young because. I mean, he has this demeanor. It's it's all the more chilling. It's just like, I wonder how things might have turned out if David Prowse, they actually went with his voice instead of James Earl Jones. But I don't think they would have done that. They also
let's be happy we'll never find out.
Yeah, you can catch some of the scenes on YouTube, I think, where it's his voice instead of James Earl Jones. Yeah, not nearly as menacing.
Yeah, as I said, yeah.
It's like he doesn't even have the same. Doesn't even have the same dialogue. Like when Vader says, "Commander, tear the ship apart and bring me the planes. I want them alive." And Prowse's line is like, "Start tearing the ship apart piece by piece," and maybe something else. It's just.
He has a very strong English accent, too.
Oh, yeah.
And no offense to David Prowse, he gave a tremendous physical performance, but I mean, the voice is what brought it all together.
Yeah, pretty much, I would say he was pretty much the villain among villains, not just in movies, but of all fiction, period. Like literature, comic books, so forth, and so on. I think there are one or two that are bettered. But like I said, Vader's so damn malevolent and ruthless. And the thing about him is, it's just like he kills. It's the ruthless things he does to his subordinates, especially the Death Star with Admiral Bati. When he basically makes fun of Vader because of his belief in the Force. He just, like I said, when he proceeds to use the Force on him in a very dark fashion. Of course, Vader is a dark figure. He says, "I find your lack of faith disturbing. He suffers no fools." I mean, tell that to Admiral Ozzel. I mean, and Captain Nita.
He's clumsy as he is stupid.
And of course, he's the father of our main protagonist. You know, that's where things get interesting with him. It's just like, to me, he is the symbol of evil. Nothing. I mean, he said the character that's more iconic, or as well thought out, or as and it's truly. I mean, truly define, and there's no one that truly defines what villainy is rather than Darth Vader. Maybe he's not the best. I feel he's like close to the best, but still, he is nevertheless a memorable character and a very frightening one. And especially, you say he still can frighten you today. He's still one of the best villains of all time. Still one of the best sci-fi villains. Just one of the best villains ever. Period. So Darth Vader, number one on the list. All right, Mike, why don't you give us number one on your list?
All right, my number one was going to be Darth Vader. But then I started thinking about it. You know what?
What?
I can't go with Darth Vader.
This better be a good one then.
And if you look at the entire Star Wars series from the first, all the way from Phantom Menace, you realize, you know what? Darth Vader, he's evil. He becomes evil, but he's really just a puppet. And that puppeteer is my number one. It is Emperor Sheev Palpatine.
Good choice.
That is his actual name. I mean, yeah. I mean, if the entire Star Wars series was episode 4 through 6, I probably would have gone with Darth Vader. But watching the entire movie series from 1 to 6, you see exactly how manipulative and evil the Emperor is. I mean, he goes from a center. He manages to manipulate all the factions on Naboo in order to get himself elected as Emperor. Then from there, he turns the entire galaxy on itself, and it creates a civil war where there was none, in order to consolidate his own power base. And then he manipulates Anakin into becoming his apprentice and becoming Darth Vader, and pretty much wipes out the entire Jedi Order, just so he doesn't have any foes that can really go against him. I mean, this is a guy that he is the master chess player. He's playing every single piece all the way right up to the end. I mean, the one thing he didn't foresee was that he turned Anakin to the dark side, but he didn't quite kill the light. He didn't quite destroy Anakin Skywalker. There was just that little flame inside Darth Vader, that was just waiting for his son to fan into a blaze. Exactly. I mean, right at the very end of Return of the Jedi, he said, "Now, young Skywalker, you will die." He just starts smiling and like, dude, this guy is gonna kill him. He just like, "You're gonna die. Boom, you're dead." That's it. That is all. I mean, and basically, he wants all the power to himself, and he will do anything. He will destroy anything. He will wipe out entire planets. He had Alderaan destroyed just to provide a lesson. He killed billions of people. I mean, even on his best day, Magneto never touched that. So I mean, when you look at Darth Vader, he's evil, but he would not have fallen to the dark side. He would not have become as evil as he ended up being, if not for the Emperor. And for me, that gives the Emperor the number one spot.
Oh my God! Yeah.
The Emperor also seemingly seemed to arrange for his apprentices to meet their falls every now and then. He's like, their princess always kills the master, and it looked like Palpatine was trying to avoid that. I mean, he sends Darth Maul to fight 2 Jedi. He then pretty much orders Anakin to kill Dooku after he's been defeated in a duel, and then he already starts arranging for Luke to become his new apprentice once he finds out that he's being trained as a Jedi. He is just always one step ahead of everybody. Wants to make sure he won't fall victim to what he did to Darth Plagueis, assuming that he was the apprentice in the story. He's just one bad dude.
Yep.
Yeah, he is. He is a great villain, but still, I think my mind's blown. You have the ability to the Force? I will Force choke you right now. Jeez.
I told you. I didn't warn you.
I didn't even do it. That was still Vader, man.
Like I said, if it was just 4 through 6, it would be Darth Vader. But 1 through 3, for as bad as those prequels are as films, the story and the character development of the Emperor, it makes him out to be one evil son of a bitch.
You can't argue with that.
I was gonna say there's no arguing with that. He is definitely a ruthless, malevolent character. Yeah, and Ian McDiarmid just played the hell out of that character. Definitely. All right, Colton, why don't you give us number 1?
Well, after that stirring speech, my number 1 it can't really match, but it's Darth Vader. Yep, Darth Vader again. I mean, yes, he is basically just Palpatine's fist, his dragon, his most trusted and brutal enforcer.
Right.
Well, one of them anyway. I mean, Tarkin's no slouch either. But what I like about Vader is that, well, in addition to the fact that we had, well, in the original trilogy, we had more films with it. We had more screen time with them than the Emperor, then the prequels came around, so the Emperor got a lot of development. One thing I loved about Vader is just the way the story was crafted around him was just excellent. I mean, first it starts off with we don't really know much about him, only that he killed Luke's father. So, of course, we're expecting there to be some sort of final confrontation between the two of them, only we don't get it in A New Hope. So then Empire Strikes Back comes around, we see Luke building himself up for the inevitable confrontation with Vader that's going to happen. And then when it finally happens, Vader comes out of the shadows and says, "The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi yet," in that chilling voice. And that suddenly lets the audience know that Luke is about to have every square inch of his ass kicked. Vader looks like something he looks like a living nightmare in that entire sequence. I mean, he literally fights Luke with one hand for the beginning of their lightsaber duel. And when it finally becomes clear that when Vader starts using the Force, he doesn't even make any flashy movements or whatever. He just does it all through just his sheer will. He's able to throw up whatever he wants at Luke. Doesn't break a sweat. Doesn't bat an eye. Well, maybe he was batting an eye. We can't see behind that helmet. And Luke is just helpless to stop him. That is what a true master of the Force is, right there. Pretty impressive for a guy that once decided to blow his 2-person advantage against Count Dooku by charging at him. We'll take him together. You can go on slowly in the left. No, I'm taking him now. No, Anakin, no.
I believe the soundtrack for that fight on Bespin, I believe the soundtrack part of that is entitled "Luke has his ass handed to him."
Even more is that during the third portion of the fight, when Vader comes at Luke, he's way more aggressive. He almost looks gigantic compared to Luke. And then he just casually cuts his hand off after Luke manages to finally get in a good hit on him. Vader is like, "Oh, hell no," and immediately cuts off Luke's hand, showing just what happens when you actually piss off Darth Vader. In fact, we see if there's a rule in the galaxy, it's don't make Vader angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. And it starts off with like tranquil fury at first, like when he chokes that one guy that insults the Force, saying, "Don't try to threaten us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader." And then when he kills Admiral Ozzel, when he kills Captain Nita, Vader is pretty calm during all those instances. But when Luke actually lands a hit on him, it's one of the few times where we actually see Vader is angry, and we see that it is not something you want to do. As like I said, Vader just instantly cuts off Luke's hand, and then he immediately goes back to his calm demeanor afterwards. He's like, "Don't make me destroy you," and all that, and manages to simply destroy him with that one revelation of "I am your father." It was. It's like Vader. I know the Emperor is a is the true villain for Star Wars, but for me, Vader is he's 100 times more intimidating. I guess I could say. And I love how Vader doesn't really flaunt the Force. You know, the Emperor was just having a blast killing Luke with the Force, but with Vader, he's very tranquil with it. When he choked that one guy, it was just a very simple method of him using Force grip on him. He didn't raise his voice. He simply said, "I find your lack of faith disturbing," and it was just that the fact that he insulted the Force, Vader just found it disturbing. He wasn't angry or anything. He was just upset that he didn't respect the Force. I was showing him why he should respect it. And then when he uses it again on Admiral Ozzel, Vader you can tell he's angry, but he manages to keep himself pretty calm and composed, and as he kills Ozzel while also simultaneously promoting Captain Piet to Admiral. That's also another great scene where he's like, "You are in command now, Admiral Piet." And the Admiral's like, "Thank you, Lord Vader." Then he looks down at Ozzel's body. You can tell he's probably thinking, I think.
How he uses the Force, I think is what makes him so unpredictable and intimidating, at least.
Indeed.
Apology accepted, Captain Nita.
Captain Nita. And they just casually orders for 2 guards to grab Nita's body and just take it away. And also, let's see here. What else can I say that's awesome about Vader? And of course, the times where we do see Vader, this is all expanded universe stuff, but whenever we do see Vader truly in action, we all know it's going to be bad news for other people, like that one comic where Vader is surrounded, and of course, we brought this up on other shows. Vader says, "All I'm surrounded I'm surrounded by fear and dead men," or something like that. What was the quote, Mike?
Yep, all I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men.
You better see something like that in Rogue One. Mike has
I'm hoping for it.
I don't know if we will, because I don't think we're going to see Vader enough for him to have like a big fight scene like that.
Maybe not, but still.
I'm hoping he has a big fight scene because I love Vader, but I feel like with the technology we have now, we can really see him cut loose with his Force abilities. I mean, I know I just said I loved how he didn't flaunt the Force, but he obviously could use it if he used it to its full potential if he ever needed to. And among other things, because we saw just how deadly he was when he was barely trying, when he was fighting Luke, so it makes you wonder just how much damage he could do if he really was actually putting in the effort to bring down his enemies.
I know of one more awesome thing you can say about him. He's Darth effing Vader.
Exactly. And of course, even when he says the Emperor is not as forgiving as I am, that's still a badass line, because Vader is basically just, it's like, even like Vader says it and you're still like, it doesn't feel like we've suddenly switched from fearing Vader to the Emperor. We're still like it's like we're still afraid, and like Vader is just saying, I might be bad, but the fact that he just has to threaten the commander with them, the fact that he threatens the commander with Palpatine still makes Vader seem intimidating. He's like, I'm going easy on you, okay? I could just throw you to the Emperor, so you better get cracking or else, So yeah, number 1 on my list is still Darth Vader.
Yes, definitely. It's just like a nice choice, excellent choice, and we have an excellent list from both of you guys on the board. That was our show. This is a great show to do. Especially got some interesting choice from both of you two, most certainly. I'm certainly, like to have some of the choices you made on your list were certainly not interesting. No doubt about that. And that was our show today and tonight. I mean, like I said, it was great doing this. Just wanted to do this show for some time. And our next week's show is going to be top 5 superhero origin story movies. So make sure you check out for that.
Y'all know who's going to be my number 1.
Sorry, man.
Give you a hint. He's a Marvel character. A little on the young side, and hasn't seen Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. I like to call him Underoos, just to make you. Okay.
He's on the younger side.
Yes. And like I said, I think I know his character. I usually call him Underoos.
We're not calling him that.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, make sure to check it out for that. I'd like to thank the people who were kind enough to join me. Mike, I mean, it was, like I said, it's always great having you on the show, man.
Hey, always great to be here and talk some geek with you guys.
Yes,
I'm happy I can make it for this episode.
yes. Like I said, Colton, it's great having you. This is this is joining like-minded people who speak geek like myself. Definitely, like I said, make sure to check out next week's show, which will be top 5 origins, top 5 superhero origin stories, movies, and that concludes our episode 90 of our show. My name is C.M. Miller. Until next time, goodbye.
See ya.